up, Patreon? We are in the home stretch of our 2-week-long talk about line gear. And so hopefully y'all are still interested or have learned a thing or two about this subject. We're going to talk about gray man line gear concepts today, which was a question that we got asked, and I thought it was tremendous because it's not really ever discussed. Gray man line gear. I am not the consummate gray man, as I've discussed before. I tend to stick out in the crowd. I'm large, I'm covered in tattoos, I've got a beard, I have a command presence when I walk into a room. Even when I try and turn that off, I'm still, it depends. The sheeple pay no attention to me. But everybody who knows a thing or two, who's switched on themselves, I just tend to not fly underneath their radar. So part of the gray man is knowing your audience. What is the environment that you're operating in, and do you have what it takes to be truly inconspicuous? Squid, for example, my former partner in crime here at this channel, was really good at being the gray man, and at times was employed in that role for various things, and he can get the job done doing that. I can't. But to that end, we will talk about EDC, line 1, line 2, line 3, and the gray man line gear as I see it. So first and foremost, your line 1's your belt and pockets. We have already talked about this ad nauseum, but we'll hit it one more time real quick. What should be on your belt and in your pockets at all times? A pistol, a reload, a knife, a lighter, a tourniquet, and then I would say in today's day and age, probably a cell phone, which is your commo, possibly also your navigation in rule of law, right? So that's on your person all the time. And that tourniquet doesn't necessarily need to be a cat tourniquet. It could be a SWAT tee in your back pocket that nobody knows what's there. Oh, and then your wallet. And then I also carry a flashlight as well, like on my person. So, you know, a Sharpie, a pen, whatever. That's your line 1. That's your gray man line 1. Maybe a multi-tool on your belt, but I would say as a gray man, you want to be carrying all these things in such a way that when you carry them, you're not constantly touching them on your belt. That's like a dead giveaway for somebody who's new to carrying or uncomfortable carrying, is that they're constantly touching their gun. I've done it sometimes. I made that mistake a lot earlier in my life, earlier in my career, of just constantly, is it still there? Do you think it's poking out of my shirt? Can anybody tell? I don't know. Like, just get comfortable carrying your weapon and do it in such a way that it's not blatantly obvious. You know, bulges. How do you know that guy's a cop? Bulges on each hip, radio and a gun, right? So forth, so on. Or a federal agent, radio and a gun. Like, it's stupid. But point being, you should be able to carry all of this stuff, your line gear, in such a way that it's not, you're not uncomfortable with it and it's unobtrusive. People aren't being keyed off by all these bumps and bulges on your body. That's your line 1. Your line 2, what's the reason that we have a line 2? That's more ammo, potentially commo, potentially navigation, water, right? Calories, right? All this stuff that's on your body, kind of your fighting load. Not kind of, typically your fighting load. How could you work around that as a gray man? Well, what about like a photography vest? Now that could certainly raise some eyebrows depending on where you are. Other places not so much, but having a khaki or an OD green vest with just some pockets on it that doesn't look like, that's the other thing, the way your clothes hang on you can say a lot about how much you're carrying. And so if I see somebody wearing a garment that's just hanging on them, I'm like, their pockets are overloaded. What's in their pockets? It's June. Why are their pockets so heavy? Why does that guy have a vest on in June, right? Or if you're gonna carry a photography vest, carry a camera too. Like, that gives you some plausible deniability as to why you would have that vest on. The camera is just a decoy, man. It's just there, right? What's actually in these pockets are 4 M4 mags and 2 pistol mags and another tourniquet and some granola bars and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, right? Whatever. That's one thing that you could do, is a vest like that. As long as it makes sense seasonally, a jacket or an outer garment that has lots of pockets in it. And like one of my favorites is my Cabela's Tactical Fleece, and it's one of my favorites because it was 119 bucks and I got it on sale for 19 bucks. Love it. And it's got pockets in it for magazines and whatever. But a second layer that you can distribute some load and add some redundancy to, for sure, right? You know, it might be your suit coat. Now, and understand that if you have well-tailored clothes, this is going to affect how much you can put as well into this clothing as a line too. So, you know, having loose fit clothing is a good thing when you're trying to disguise things. Mosby has in his, I've been reading a lot of Mosby lately, forgive me. Mosby has in his clandestine carry pistol book, which one of y'all sent me, thank you. He says there's a reason that 007 carried a little tiny PPK, and that's because in a well-fitting tuxedo, there's no place to hide a weapon. He's right. He's absolutely right about that. So things to take into consideration, okay? And then your line 3 would be something like a normal, everyday looking backpack, like this one. My wife, we have lots of these. My wife, this is one of the bags in that story where I said my wife came home from Walmart with like 15 bags she bought on clearance for $1 or $2 each. This is one of them. This is a Coleman 38 liter. It's held up pretty well. I mean, it's got a little bit of fraying right there, but I use this. This is often an overnight bag or 72-hour bag when I'm going to Texas or when I'm going elsewhere to do work. Or deploying on a mission. This is what I take. You know, it's got the pockets. There's a pocket here, and then it's a bag, right? It's your standard 38 liter bag, just not at all tactical. Now, the nice thing about the fact that it's not tactical is that it just instantly diffuses anybody who might be thinking in that direction. As far as the sheep will go, people who are switched on and in the know that there's just as much ability for this thing to conceal lethality than any other bag. Okay, so for somebody who's in the know, this is probably not going to get one past them, but for everybody else, yeah, for sure, it's going to help you remain underneath the radar. You know, and it's right now it just basically has clothes in it. There's nothing special in here. 2-mag holder. I usually run a blowout kit in here. MRE. You know, there's some spare batteries in here. CR18 650s, cell phone charger. You know, I'm not gonna run the pockets per se in here because it's mostly clothes. Gloves, Panama City mission identification. It's still kind of packed from Panama City, actually. Yeah, clothes, man, clothes. But this bag, as a line 3, it's a 38 liter bag. You can put a heck of a lot of stuff in a 38 liter bag for all the things. I mean, you could put your camo in there, put some more ammo, but again, understand that the heavier you make that bag, the more out of sync with the traditional environment that's going to make you look. Right? If you're carrying a normal looking bag but it looks really heavy, why, right? Most people, without even knowing why, that's going to flip a switch in their brain and go, something's not right about that. So ammo's heavy, water's heavy. Doesn't mean you don't have those things, but don't load this rucksack up like you're going up the side of a mountain in Afghanistan and you're going to, your next resupply is 4 days later and you're self-supporting until then, okay? No. I would see this as anything as more of like a capabilities kit, kind of being the minimum things that I'm going to need to operate in a hostile environment for a given period of time, 24 to 72 hours, that gets me from where I am to where I need to be. And capabilities kits are a good thing, probably something that we need to talk more about, so hit me in the comments down below and let me know what you think about that, or T, what the hell is a capabilities kit? Okay, we can talk about that going forward. But yeah, you don't overload this, because if you have a bag that somebody would expect to weigh 15 to 20 pounds and it weighs 45 pounds, that's going to create red flags. So, but it's a rucksack, rucksack-ish. It just looks like a backpack. So you can put rucksack-ish things in there. Cover, combustion, cordage, container, cover, calories, combat, compass, candle, and casualty care. You put all that stuff in there. And you should have some modicum of that in there regardless. Just don't overdo it, man. And again, I see all the time with people's not line gear, their bug out bags. Like, your bag weighs 97 pounds. Like, I know. Like, bro, no. My entire loadout weighs 70 pounds. You had a rifle, dude, it's 80, and you got 97 pounds on your back. Like, well, I want the capability to what? Die? Turn an ankle and die in the woods? No, man, too much. So, but you understand how much is too much by using the stuff. By using it, not just throwing all the crap into a bag, which we've talked about before. Another thing, and this is from Ollie Hansen. I've showed it a couple of times on camera, but I haven't really discussed it too much. This is from Ollie Hansen, given to me by JK Ironman here at Patreon. Bless you, brother. You are tremendous. This bag is super cool. Okay, this is a messenger bag. If I put on a collared shirt and carry this bag, nobody's gonna think anything unless I'm walking through a metal detector, because inside this bag, this is a Glock, this is 2 spare magazines, and this is a tourniquet and a set of shears ready to go right inside of there. Right? So, as part of your Grayman EDC, you might have a bag like this. I got some wipes in here that Rod gave me. Thanks, Rod. You know, listen, man, I got some business cards in here. Right, look at that. It's a man bag. It's a man bag, but it's a very lethal man bag. These things are cool. I got 2 of these. This is a spare 20,000 milliamp hour battery in here. And this is basically, I believe, just like 10 CR18 650 batteries that are in here. That are all ganged together, and I have 2 of these, and when you do the iPhone things for the YouTube and the Patreon, they're nice to have. So, you know, it's just got things in it. It's got, you know, cables and charger thing and all the thing for the iPhone thing. But to look at it, no one would think, oh yeah, that guy's definitely carrying a pistol, 2 reloads, or I mean, hell, you could put 6 reloads in here. I could probably fit half a dozen M4 pattern magazines in here, no problem. No problem. And it's a robust bag. It carries weight well, and it's the kind of thing that, looking at it, that you wouldn't expect, oh, that's too heavy, right? It's a messenger bag. You sling it over your shoulder and carry it, and then if you need it, you've got a pistol. So, something to consider. And super cool craftsmanship. This Ollie Hansen guy, I mean, branded, he's got his brand on it right there. It's super awesome. But it's something to consider, and I carry it. I carry it for business, but I also carry it for personal protection. So, because, right? And well, but there's a Glock in there and there's a 9mm here. Yep. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen, right? And it's not a level of paranoia, but you know, if I keep this thing on the front seat of my truck as part of my Grayman EDC, it's just a messenger bag. It's just my briefcase. It's got my business stuff in it. But man, my draw is quick. I can reach over there, grab that pistol, put it in your face if you're trying to carjack me, just as much as I can put this one in your face. Or, okay, you get this gun away from me. Oh, I know you got a gun. Okay, yeah, I got a gun. Yeah, here, I got another one too. Or whatever, right? How likely is that scenario? Not very likely at all, but it's a thing. It's there. So, point being that as a gray man, you can carry most or all of this equipment on your person, but you have to do it in a way that it's not obvious. And that's the issue. And so part of that is going to be understanding what your mission is and carrying the appropriate stuff for the mission, not, well, I think I'm going to need 15 magazines. Well, how are you going to carry 15 magazines underneath a suit jacket, bro? You're not, okay? You're going to look like you have a suicide vest on. No good. I've got a super tight micro chest rig on underneath my business attire. No, not gonna work, man. I think it's about carrying the minimum capabilities to get you from where you are to where you need to be, just like a bug out bag, so that you can function in this hostile environment, either get in, do a thing and get out, or get out of this hostile environment while flying underneath the radar. Again, and I make no money by telling you this, it's just a really good book. Unless you have a problem with 4-letter words, then he's not your guy. But Clandestine Carry by John Mosby, which you guys, one of you guys sent to me, thank you. Very good book, and he clearly knows what the heck he's talking about. And he makes this point over and over and over again. A, you gotta understand what the mission is, what are you trying to accomplish? And B, don't carry a whole bunch of crap, right? You may just need a little 380 tucked inside your waistband where nobody can see it to get in, do your thing, and get out again. All right? And maybe your thing is you work in a corporate office where you're not allowed to, by company policy, carry a weapon, but you're in a city and you know that you need to, so you carry a weapon. And your goal is to get from inside the office outside to your truck where your 45 is, or where your carbine is, or whatever. And so in that philosophy of use, you don't need a hand cannon. You need a 380 or a 9mm, something tiny like that. And so I think it's about understanding the mission, and then understanding the parameters of that, and then speccing out the appropriate equipment, and look at it in phases as well. Where can I not be gray man anymore? If I get outside of the city, maybe I have a whole bunch of stuff cached in a box somewhere, capabilities kit, hey baby, that when I get to that, I can stow my gear, my gray man gear, and I can flex into a different role. Maybe now I just look like Bob from the feed store, and I put on my Dickies shirt, my Carhartt pants, my work boots, and my ball cap, and now I can carry a GI issue rucksack without attracting much attention, and I've got much more capability in that kit than I do in my gray man kit. Things to think about. Because I'll tell you what, man, out here, I see a guy walking down the road out here with a button-down Tommy Hilfiger shirt and a man bag on his shoulder. Something's wrong. He looks out of place. That's not gray man here. That's gray man in Dallas. That's gray man in certain parts of Northwest Arkansas, Fayetteville, the Walmart corridor. Certainly gray man in New York City or LA, and various other places. It's not gray man here. Out here, I'd be much more, because of the societal norms here and the conditions here, the normalcy here, that's gonna trigger me way quicker than if I see a guy walking down the street in a sleeveless t-shirt and a ball cap carrying a bag. I'm gonna be curious as to what's in his bag, but it's not gonna instantly flip my switch. So those are all things to consider. The environment that you're operating in dictates what a gray man is as well. So we typically think is urban environments flying underneath the radar, but out here, gray man is looking like I do, right? And looking kind of like a redneck, looking kind of like a farmer, right? Or, I'm a welder for a living. That's gray man out here. So understand the environment that you're working in. Directive 1, determine if you need to go gray man. Do I even need to be gray man? Okay, then if you do, directive 2, define the mission and build the loadout accordingly. I'm rushing because I'm hungry and thirsty. Define the mission and build the loadout accordingly. Take what you need, not what you want, and don't get idealistic about it. Take what you need. Then directive 3, carry the loadout and see if you get made. See if people are figuring out, hey man, there's something wrong with that guy. What is he doing? Why is he carrying a handmade leather bag on the back roads in Oklahoma? Something's out of place here, right? And then practice it. Part of directive 3 is carry that load out and practice it, because just like you're gonna have interferences with your tactical line gear, you're gonna have interferences with your gray man line gear. I can't draw my pistol if I do this thing this way. I can't get to my tourniquet. Where's my cell phone? I wanna carry a radio in case I need it, but it's all the way back here in my line 3. Is there any way to move it closer without drawing attention? So forth and so on. Go to the malls. The malls are a dying breed anyway. Go there and buy a Slurpee or something and walk around with your gray man EDC. Go to festivals, go to wherever you can go and do it. See if you get made. See how much you can carry before people start looking at you weird. That's a really good one as well. And observe people. You want to do what they are doing, right? Like you want to fit in with the herd, because those that get separated from the herd, they have a much shorter lifespan. So Gray Man EDC, that's my thoughts on that. Thank you guys for being here. Shalom and blessings, y'all.